G'day there everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Welcome to another edition of SharePoint Saturday, where we're going to take a look at how we can utilize, or two different ways in which we can utilize SharePoint to distribute your company internal newsletter. So a lot of times we want to send an aggregation or an update to everybody across the organization or segments of people across your company in a nice, easy way. Now, traditionally, this is done by email, maybe a PDF attachment where we're collating information and we're crafting a document and then turning it into a PDF and then emailing that out. But we're going to have a look at how we can use SharePoint in two different ways to do this in a slightly different way. Now, we can see here that we are on a SharePoint communication site, might be your intranet, might be another comms site for a particular purpose. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump up to the new button and we're going to go new news post. Now, you're going to see a number of different new templates and options for you to choose from. Now, traditionally, we've seen just the standard options where we've got blank, we've got visual, and we've got basic text. Now, what you're going to see is a made for email section. Yes, email is a core communication channel that we need to take into account when we're distributing our communication across the company. Now, you can see that we've got blank news, we've got actually a template for newsletter, we've got an event, we've got topic, we've got process, and we've got a status update. So a couple of different use cases in regards to templates here. Now, the one we're going to focus on is our newsletter. All right, so now also what we can do with these three little dots is we can make this a default selection. So you might have a communication site as part of your information architecture on your intranet that is specifically for comms and newsletters. So you could make this the default so that whenever we're creating a new news post, that the newsletter is the default option. So we'll click on newsletter and you can see we get a preview of what that is going to look like. It's just a typical SharePoint page, but it's a little bit different. All right, so let's click on create post. And you can see we're taken to the SharePoint page, right? Now, web parts, columns, all that sort of stuff, you can see I can hit the plus button. We've got our sections, we've got our templates that we can use, or our section templates we can use as well. Now, when we go to add web parts though, we've got a kind of a cut down version of the web part panel here. So we've only got the ability to use a couple of different web parts. That is because we're distributing this via email as well. So it's made for email and also for a SharePoint page. So we can see here, we've got our different options. Now I'm just going to add a title. We've got all the same capabilities as we normally would. So I might just go weekly newsletter as our title. I'm just going to leave all the content the same, but we could, if we wanted to, add, as I said, another section in here. We could add our 3 images and our text at the top, like we would craft out a normal page. Okay, so now that we've got our title, you can see that we've got a different type of button up the top here. We've got post and send. So that's going to perform 2 actions for us. It's going to post it to the SharePoint site and the site pages library, but you can see here also that we get an email, a really nice looking branded email version of this page as well, and that is the preview of what the users will see when it gets to their inbox. All right, so what we might do here is I'm just going to post in Alex as an individual person, but ordinarily it would be a group of people, distribution list, all that sort of stuff where we've got all of our company or a segment of our company across here. Now I am going to just leave it as the weekly newsletter. We can then also add a little bit of a message here. All right, so we can type in the body of the email and then we can craft out that as well. All right, so we can also have the option here to send it as a link if we don't want the full copy in the body of the email. I'm going to leave it like that and I'm going to hit send. All right, so that is now going to send, and it's going to send across to Alex. All right, so you can see there the email has been sent, and in just a second second, we'll open up Alex's inbox and we'll have a look at what that looks like in the email. So we've got Alex's email open here, and here is the newsletter that has come into the inbox, and you can see here that it has got all the content of that SharePoint page in the body of the email. It looks really nice. It's responsive, it's mobile, so people can check it on their phone in Outlook as well. I'm in the web version, but that is the experience that we get when we're sending that newsletter from SharePoint to email. So I'm going to drag this across. So that's option number one. So we've got the ability to create a newsletter. Now that does, as I said, send it via email, but it also creates a SharePoint page, right? So you can see here, I've got the Viva Connections feed on the site here, and there is that page. It's automatically come into that feed as well. All right. Now, there's a second option, and it's relatively new, and this is called Viva Amplify. Still uses SharePoint and a couple of other really interesting things for your communication teams. We can choose different channels to distribute our message to, all right? So we've got this concept of campaigns. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create a campaign for our newsletter, all right? So I'm going to create a campaign. We might have a few different people that we want to work on or be part of the campaign. So we're just going to call this campaign Weekly Newsletters. Like so. We can have a description if we want, and we can give it a thumbnail color. I'm just going to leave it by default. We'll hit next. We can add members to your campaign as well. So what we're going to do here is we'll just add Alex, we'll add Nesta, and we'll also add Adele as well. So we've got a few different people that are part of this campaign. We can then create the campaign. So it's going to create a space for us to collaborate and come together to work on our weekly newsletter. It's going to create a Microsoft team in the background as well, so we can have our conversations and then gather all of our bits of information ready to distribute amongst the organization. Now, the great thing about Viva Amplify is that we can create and craft a single piece of content, but then choose the distribution channels that we want to distribute that to. So you can see here, I've got, this is the space for our campaign. And now what I can do is choose, again, these are fairly similar to what we've just seen in SharePoint, where I've got my newsletter. So I'm going to click on newsletter here. And again, we're taken to that same page. We've got a SharePoint page. It looks the same as what we've just seen, but there's a lot more functionality here, all right? So we've got the title column, we've got all of our page like we saw just before. Again, we've got a cut down version of our web part gallery that we can choose from. So it is in essence a SharePoint page, but a cut down functionality of that page. Now, what you will see though is we've got different distribution channels. So when I click on distribution channels up the top here on the right hand side, you can see that we've got Outlook, we've got SharePoint, we've got Teams, and very, very shortly we'll be able to post and distribute this through to Viva Engage as well. So what I might do is the page isn't loaded correctly. So I'm just going to refresh this page. Hopefully this title section, and there we go, has come back and we can change our image and title like we normally would. And let's go December newsletter. So we'll call this one December newsletter. Again, we'll craft it all out and we can create the page. Now, when we go to distribution channels, we can pick and choose. We can preview what that is going to look like throughout those channels. We kind of already saw the preview for Outlook in the previous method as well. So that is going to be the same, pretty much the same as what we've just seen. So you can see that's the email version there. We can add email recipients at this point. We can send a test email if we wanted to as well. We can flick over to SharePoint, what it's going to look like in SharePoint, and then in Teams we can also see what this is going to look like if we choose to distribute this via a Teams channel. So you can see the whole body and the whole content is going to be posted as a message inside of a team, all right? And you can see here we've got no teams in the channel selected, but on the right hand side we can add our channels, all right? So we can say all company comms, let's distribute that to the all company comms channel there, all right? So we've got the preview, we've got post as Megan, we've got options. It can either be an announcement, and we can choose whether people can reply or only you or the moderators can reply as well. All right, so we'll just leave it like that. Now we'll flick back over to SharePoint. What's interesting here is that we can choose a particular SharePoint site to post this this page to. All right, so I'm going to choose that SharePoint Saturday site. Okay, and we could choose multiple if we wanted to. All right, so I could say I want to distribute this and post this also to the Mark 8 project team. So we've got a number of different options there. We've got 8 sites that we can choose from there. And I will just close this out now, and you can see Outlook. I'm just going to pop in a recipient for our Outlook. Now I'm just going to choose Alex in this case. So there we go there. And again, we could, if we wanted to, write in the body of the email as well. SharePoint, we're done, we're set. We've got our sites that we are publishing to. Microsoft Teams, again, we've got our option there and we're choosing that channel. Now, publish, when we're ready to go, we've got a couple of different options. We can publish now, straight away. We can schedule to publish, or we can request approval. All right, I'm just going to publish now. And then you can see we get a review of where we're going. So you can see who we're going to, the SharePoint site we're posting to, and also the Microsoft team that we are posting to as well. I'm going to hit publish. Let's see what happens. So now it's just going through the process to distribute all of our across our different channels. You can see we're sending to Outlook, we're posting to SharePoint, and we're also posting to Teams. While it's doing that, I'm just going to jump up here. I'm going to open up Microsoft Teams so we can check what that looks like in Teams. All right, so you can see we're going to go to the all company comms team. So let me just open up Teams, and we'll go all company comms. We'll wait for that to load, and it's probably somewhere. Where are we? All company comms. You can see here that it is this is in actual fact a shared channel, right? So the interesting option here is if we've got a communications team, let's say, and we've got a shared channel, and that shared channel is then being consumed by other teams, we can distribute our post to that shared channel, and then that is going to show up in every other channel that is subscribed or it has been added to that team. So you can see there, that's the post that has just been posted to that shared channel. We've also got a SharePoint page, okay, that has been done. So that will appear in the SharePoint site as well. And then we've also, I just heard the bing, we sent it to Alex. There's the December newsletter, and we've distributed that across email as well. So 3 different channels. There'll be a 4th with Viva Engage. So it's a really powerful platform for internal comms teams to distribute newsletters across your organization. So there's a couple of 2 different ways that we've just gone through there. Just the stock standard, creating a new news post inside of SharePoint to distribute that, post that to SharePoint and distribute it via email. Or we take it to the next level, and we've got Viva Amplify, where we create a SharePoint page in essence, and then we can pick our distribution channels: Outlook, SharePoint, Teams, and very shortly Viva Engage. So I hope that brings you some value. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next edition.